back to the Tiger Den. I hope you guys are doing well, and my mouth isn't moving because I may or may not be next to Rosie right now. Like, her webcam's on the other side of the screen because I'm currently scanning a bunch of bookmarks and pictures that I've done. I'm almost done here, but I didn't want to end stream, or not stream on time, because I've been doing that a lot lately. So I decided to just go ahead and do a chat screen while I finish this. I am very, very close to done. I think I am done now. I think I scanned the last thing. Let me double check. But I did all the bookmarks for the TFA members. If you are interested in TFA member, you can get them for relatively cheap. I am not doing the originals, so you will not get the original bookmark. You will get a print. But if there's a TF member you want, individually they are $1. Otherwise, if you get the set, I'm thinking maybe $5. So that's 8 people for $3 off. So you buy 5, get 3 free. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. Why is this one so thick? I don't know why that one's so thick. Anyway, I have those all scanned. I just gotta laminate them, and I'm thinking of adding to my bookmarks little charms. So, like, it'll have a little chain coming out of the top of it and have a little charm at the bottom. So that way you can have it hang out of the book a little bit and have a little bit of, I don't know, some personality to the bookmark. Yes, I have scanned everything, so everything is good there. So I'm going to go ahead and close these. And I'm fairly certain that's everything I need to do at the computer. I did cut up the bookmarks. I scanned them. I haven't laminated them yet. I can laminate them later. So, I'm exhausted, guys. It has been a very, very long day, and I've only been up for maybe 3 hours. I couldn't fall asleep till about 4 a.m. last night. Or not 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m., which is even worse. So I woke up at about 10:30, and I think my Fitbit registered me for 6 hours and 2 minutes. And to make that even worse, it had over an hour of that, like an hour and 47 or something like that. That was me awake. So that's not ideal. Okay, so I'm gonna move over to the paint stream, and we are gonna go ahead and start painting here. So, I didn't shrink. Why didn't I shrink? Probably because I didn't have the right thing set up. What is the right thing? What is give me a minute, because I gotta remember what my hotkey was. Here we go. It's numpad 0. I do not have numpad 0. We're gonna go numpad 0. Okay. Now that should save. Should we do this? There we go. Now I'm in the right corner. That again for this one. I updated my stream. I updated my stream deck to include the all the updated pieces for the buttons, because I had old ones like in real life that I don't do outside of painting. So I updated it to the painting, and I updated the stream. And apparently both of those were set on F16, which is the center of it, or I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just the old corner. Either way, I got it fixed. We're all good. I'm gonna go start painting. As you can see, we're working on some more bookmarks today, and then on the flip side, I decided to use both sides of my board. I decided to do a Zen pond and the jellyfish. I don't pre-sketch the jellyfish. I just kind of let them flow and end up where they want to end up. The pond I do pre-sketch just so I can get an idea of where the lily pads are going to be, where the ripples are, where the water's kind of moving, and that type of stuff. So there is that. I will do these if we have enough time, especially since most of these are going to be pretty much the same colors. I do have references for these two. This is Krista, I want to say, from Tales of Awesome, Rapid Crossing is their Twitch name. Tales of Awesome is Kitten's one. But for Rapid Crossing, I do believe that's Krista, and that is Allie. These are the two main streamers, and then everything else is just a generic rat pig. That'll be very nice. I can't sit. It is so hot today. My muscles are limber, but it's also a lot of pain. This one is not a super generic rat pig. I'm going to actually be doing this one in kind of like a Grim Reaper feel. All these other ones will be the pinkies and stuff like that. I am really tired, guys. Doing all that stuff and moving and doing crap in this heat is awful. Let me see here. I'm at 138 heart rate, which is brutal. This is what my bottom one used to look like, but as you guys can see, I updated it. So both browns are not like right next to each other. So I do need to update this swatch sheet. I'll probably put it on this side. I might work on that right now. And then that's just while I wait for everything. Well, I have to wait for it to activate anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and activate my palette here. I don't know where I'm going to put the shine on each of the rat pigs yet. I'm thinking possibly the nose, but I also want the spots to stand out. I could do the backgrounds. I might do like the wood here, background here, maybe the blush here, and their blushes will be shiny. Definitely the scythe here, and maybe the stick, blanket and pillow probably, the stick again, the little nose drip, and probably the little nose drip and the pillow that it's on. Making sure these are nice and wet to activate. But how have you guys been? How are you guys hanging out? How are you guys chillaxing in this heat? I know I'm absolutely not chillaxing. It is freaking hot as hell. I am burning up. I have a really, really old house, and the furnace is like from the fucking 30s or 40s of 1900s. It was originally a coal furnace or charcoal, whatever they used, and it got converted into a gas furnace. So it's currently a gas furnace, but there is absolutely nowhere to hook up an AC unit. So for me to have an AC unit in my house, I have to completely replace the furnace, which is absolutely expensive. I don't know why this water's already yellowed, but whatever. Might just be my eyes. I'm gonna do a background. I think I'm gonna do that yellow actually, this little golden yellow here. I don't have to do it all the way down, but I think I'm going to just give it a little bit more of a cohesive feeling, kind of like an underpainting idea. I'm starting with the backgrounds. While the pink is going to be very, very light, I do want the backgrounds to have some color. So I'm just going to kind of scoop up some of that underpainting around the rat pig. And we're gonna just kind of work with it like that. Maybe I'll paint around the rat pigs instead next time. If I pull it up like this, it definitely gives me a little bit of yellow still, but it's not going to be as bright, so it won't show through the pink as much. I think for this one, I'm going to do a light blue background. So we're just going to wet all of this, and I'll pull it up from the rat pigs again. That way that light pink can show through. So we're just going to go with this blue. I have used a lot of that blue, so it's already at the bottom of pan, but we haven't used it up completely, so I don't want to refill it yet. Definitely use a lot of blues. And I'll be able to tell from the tubes which ones need refilled more, because I'll see in the tube that it's that it definitely ran out here. And I can just replace the tubes as needed. That's the nice part about getting a kit. You get all the colors initially, and then you can just replace the ones as you need them. A little bit. I probably should use a smaller brush to clean these up. Fine. Everything's fine. So for this one that I'm currently working on, I tried to go for like a rat pig jumping down, and I wanted multiple rat pigs, so that way it could have some flow, and you know, each rat pig is its own personality. So it's not all the same rat pig, but they're kind of following a pattern here. They're jumping down to go to sleep, I guess. I don't know. I didn't plan this out very well. I did not plan the story behind it. I just decided to make it. What's the point of art if it has no meaning? Alright, so for this one, it's going to be a lot of pink, and pink is pink. I think I'm going to go with a tan background. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the tan background. We're just going to take a little bit of this yellow ochre, place it in here. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of it. I grabbed too much. It's very active right now. I may have to pull some out. I'm going to have to pull some out. not as thick color. Oh, I have a brush hair right there. It's fine. It can exist. I don't mind. Now we're going to pull out that color again. Now this next one is going to be a blue rat pig. So I think I'm going to do a complementary color, which is orange, to kind of create a little bit more stark difference between the two. You definitely want to lift on color while it's still wet because it does lift a little easier. You can sometimes lift once it's dry, and it can create an interesting effect. And I'm mostly just lifting right now so that way I can get that nice pale pink on these pigs to actually show through. And like I said, on the plus side with these ones, they're all the same color. I don't think I actually said that. Most of them are all the same color, so it'll be a little bit faster for me to paint these than normal. So hopefully with the heat, they'll dry quickly, and then I can flip it over and work on the postcards today as well. Like I said, for this one, we're going to go in with an orange. Just to give that stark contrast. It's not as orangey as I would like. That burnt sienna, or yellow ochre, is very, very close to it, actually. Go a little bit heavier here. Gives it a little bit more orange. Yellow ochre next to it really does make it look like the exact same color. It's kind of funny. Then we're going to pull out of this one because it's a light blue. So we want to have that extra lightness here. So we can get that light blue nice and light without mixing with the orange. And I did use reference photos for all this, so if the coloration is off, I apologize. I did the best I could. Part of it with the coloration is the fact that I don't have the right colors for the rat pigs. I only have a pale pink, a pinkish pink, and a really dark pink, which I don't think the dark pink would make sense for the rat pigs. I do have the correct colors in acrylic, but I like doing, especially since this is watercolor paper, I like doing watercolor. So that is that. I think I've got this lifted enough. It did bleed back in a touch. Just taking it out a little bit so that way when it bleeds into itself. There we go. Okay. So brown is the main color for Alley Cat's rat pig. I think I'm actually going to go with a purple for the background because Alley Cat's loves purple. But her little rat pig is like a lot of brown. So I can get away with doing a purple background. I'm going to go with the lighter purple. And we're just going to kind of spread it in here. And with hers being brown, I may not have to lift, but I'm still going to. Heavier on that purple. Oh, okay. Now, one of the fun tricks that I've learned that I didn't bring up here to do for you guys is alcohol, like 91% isopropyl alcohol, put onto the paint while it's still wet creates a nice bubble look. So I think before I do the jellyfish, so we may not do the jellyfish postcard today, or I'll do it downstairs. I think for the jellyfish, I am going to use that alcohol on it to make the bubbles in the background, and then use the PH Martin for the bubbles in the front. And yeah, with it being so hot, it is drying very quickly. That first one's already completely dry. So I might just work on the top ones and then come back and do the bottom ones. But I do want to, I actually want to, with all the pink, I want to go through and do each pink one. Okay. So for the Grim Reaper, I don't know what color I want to do. Maybe red. I feel like red would be a good one. Good standout against all that black and white. which at the same time, doing that will also make it so that way the white is not a true white, it's an off-white. It'll be really nice. Trying to go with a deeper red here while keeping it nice and light. I have noticed lately Twitch has been very broken. I know there are some of you out there watching and kind of lurking, which I don't mind, but according to Twitch, no one exists in this chat. So if you ever felt like a nobody, Twitch has decided you are a nobody. That does not actually make you a nobody. You are a wonderful person with a wonderful personality. But Twitch is evil. They don't care about personalities. They just want to say you don't exist. Which is even more weird because when it comes to the stream report, I do still see how many viewers there were. It's just not visible in the stats during stream. I've seen myself get up to 6, but the entire stream it said 0. So I was like, what? How? But here. Some of these areas are going to be black, so I really don't have to worry too much about lifting them. But like I said, the main part of this rat pig is white. So I need to make sure it is as white as possible here. Okay. I still gotta decide all these colors. I'm gonna start dipping into colors randomly, I guess. Whatever I feel like calls to me. I feel like this one's calling to me, so we're gonna go with this one. Nice turquoisey color. These darker colors are nice because they do give a nice stark difference. At the same time, they can be a pain in the butt because they're hard to paint over. So you definitely have to do lifting with these ones. A lot of these rat pigs I don't have like a color idea for. I'm just kind of winging it. Kind of giving the rat pigs a little bit of glow because as it dries, as you can see, it goes into the ear and stuff. So it spreads a bit. So I'm creating that glow to give a little bit of a gap between the rat pig and the outside. So that way when it bleeds in, it doesn't bleed into what I have already cleared. Yeah, this is drying so freaking fast. Worst part is I'm in a room with air conditioning, and it's still drying so fast. It's insane. Trying to wet it as much as I can so I have time to really work with it. This one can have a dark brown. Why not? I haven't done any green yet. Maybe the next one will be green. And this brown will blend with the little mallet that he's carrying. I'm trying to make it a little bit darker than the mallet. I could have gone lighter, but you know what? That would have been logical. It made me think ahead of time. Like I said, I'm just pulling colors at random. And that halo again. Just to make sure it doesn't bleed back into where I lifted. Which it probably still will bleed into where I lifted, but we can do as much as we can to negate it. Especially on these rat pigs that are supposed to be pink, a pale pink. I really don't want that dark brown overshadowing that pink. Now, I will have to admit, I don't know if I can use the pinkest pink for the rat pig spots. I may have to go with that really dark pink, or take the dark pink and mute it with a little bit of green as the as the pink is a little too vibrant, as you can see from. I actually can't see it from right there because I haven't done it yet. Let's do some green. Anyway, because I think of words today. My brain is so freaking heat fried, guys. I can't think. I can't talk. I can't do anything. Anyway, the pinkest pink doesn't show up on the computer. That's what I've been trying to say. I figured it out. So the pinkest pink doesn't actually show up on the computer itself when I scan it. So if I make prints of these, that way everyone can have some rat pigs. Because I have a feeling these are going to sell really quickly at the convention Rat Pig Crossing. I mean, literally called Rat Pig Crossing. So I have a feeling these will sell really, really well. So I wanted to make some prints so that way people still have options if they miss out on the original. Even with my glow, it's still kind of bleeding in a little bit, which is fine. I can make it work. Okay. And for this last one, I've done yellow, I've done orange, I've done pale blue, which doesn't look pale blue anymore. I could do another green. I don't want to do gray. Let's do gray, actually. I'm trying to keep this where it's actually in the background, so that way I don't have to pull as much from the pigs. I'll try and make it a little bit more even. I probably should have done the gray for the Grim Reaper, but I felt like that would have been too much of the same color with the black right next to it, and it wouldn't have shown very nicely. I don't know if I've been picking up black or gray. I thought it was gray. Yeah, it is gray. Okay. It's just a really, really dark gray. Now we can go in and clean up that rat pig. And we are just taking it and kind of glowing it so that way it has place to move in the water without taking over the pig again. Worst case, the pig has a little bit of glow. It's fine. Okay. Alright, every pig... Oh, this pig... The green completely came back in. Excuse me. Did not say you could come back in. So did the brown. The brown went back in completely as well. This sucks. Means my pale pink isn't going to show up as nicely. Maybe it'll naturally shadow it. It's fine. You know what? It's fine. I do want to do a second layer of the blue on here because it really is a bit light in my opinion. Kind of take a little bit, maybe take a little bit and just kind of darken it a touch. I'm not going to try and go near the pigs, so it'll feel a little bit more like a sky type idea. Not trying to touch those piggies. I don't want to lift again. Nope, I'm going to have to lift. I just got it in the pig. Yes, that's what happens when, you know, you don't have great work. Yeah, those colors are completely... Okay, all the colors blended. It's fine. It's freaking fine. I left my coffee over here. Can't sip my coffee if I don't have it. So the upper left one, these should actually be dry. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch them real quick, which I think was this one. Yeah. So we're going to do some quick swatches here. We're just going to go through. Oh, I have to re-wet it again. Shouldn't take long to activate because of the fact that it was already activated. This is just a drier mix because it's mostly glitter on these glitter ones. glitter into that. This is the first color. Not super vibrant right now. Not picking up that color very easily. As you can see, the red is a little bit on the lighter side. That's just because of the fact that the glitter takes up most of the pigmentation where it would be. So it's not going to be super clear. However, the yellow works just fine. It's nice and bright in your face. And yes, these are messy swatches. They're not all going to look the same. That's mostly due to the fact... Oh, the red was also fucked up. I did the red wrong. That's right. That's part of why the red isn't working very nicely. Anyway, yes, these swatches are not even. I get that. They're not perfect. I did not claim to be able to make a perfect square. Try and do that red one more time. Now it's a little bit more active. There we go. As you can see, they're nice and glittery for these top ones. I think I've got my glitter mixture down. But I think for the Lizzie Linka, they're just using mica powder. Because my mica powder is nice and shiny. Now that I figured out the tricks. I'm guessing Lizzie Linka has that bright shine due to a ton of mica powder in the mix with very little gum arabic or anything else. I don't know for certain. I've never owned a Lizzie Linka paint. I would love to. If anyone wants to buy me some, go ahead. But it's like 40 bucks for one pan, which is insane, in my opinion. But this glitter is definitely adding to it. Gray glitter. They're getting a bit big, so I may have to make the next couple a little bit smaller than we would like. So I can keep them in line. This is the closest to gold I have, which is, that one's just glitter. That one doesn't have any mica powder in it, because I wanted to test how that would work. Black one does have glitter in it. I think it didn't have enough mica powder, so it's just glitter again. It's one of those you can put over and it'll be transparent and just add gold to it, or add glitter to it. In this case, black glitter or the gold glitter. This one does have some mica powder in it, so it's going to be a little bit more on the yellow side. And I tried to make it gold, but getting a nice gold is really hard. If I need gold for anything, I am going to get out acrylic. Because getting gold in paint is very hard in watercolor. And I haven't figured out that mixture yet. I have it in my pre-made palette. But I left my pre-made palette downstairs. Got two more here. Top row. And these last three are not glitter, they are just simple mica powder. That's just because I ran out of room on the mica powder level. White. I do plan on making more white before the 18th, because I want to take the white to class and use it as like a transparent, make anything shiny. And then I also want to give it away in my class, so that way people have their own iridescent paints that they can make, or that they have and they can paint at home to make it shiny. Something was still wet when I just put my arm down. I don't know what it was. I think it's the drips. I may be dripping on my paper here. The difference between the two browns, the brown up top and this brown down here, only the black, gray, and white are mica powder. That brown on top actually has coffee mixed into it. So it has these little specks that you can barely see that are actual coffee. It does not smell like coffee. My goal is to make it smell like coffee. I want a palette of just coffee smelling paints. That would require me to know how to get that coffee to actually combine with the paint. And I am not there yet. I do have a video all primed and ready for YouTube. I haven't posted it yet. I don't know why, other than the fact I procrastinate. But it's all voiced over. I was able to actually watch it, even though I hate my voice. I was able to edit it, though I hate my voice, which I know you guys all relate. Because who likes hearing themselves talk? I guess a narcissist would, but I'm not a narcissist. I love how this bluish, like really dark, deep blue was actually called Magic Violet. And it's blue. It's not violet at all. I actually had to mix this blue with some red to get that violet right next to it. Finishing swatching here. Got a few more left to go. It's important to have swatches of your paint because as it dries, it will change color slightly. And having a swatch that tells you what the dry version looks like is very, very helpful when painting. So you can get a better view and idea of what color you're actually using. For example, that copper right down here lightened just enough that it's not quite a brown, but I'm probably going to use it for that first section, or that first bookmark where we have the wood underneath the pig, and then use the brown to kind of shadow it. I have 4 more to go, and I think I just made that way too big. I think my green's got a little too big for this. Smaller swatches here. I don't know how I got like the perfect squares on that one, but I did, and I don't know how. Maybe I'm just doing these too big. I'm trying to make them squares again, and that's too much space. All right, 2 more to go, and then we will hop back into painting the piggos. Not a lot of difference between these 2 oranges. One orange is a little bit more reddy orange, and the other one's a nice light orange. I wanted to get a darker orange just because of the fact that I don't always want it to be super light. And I do like the idea of having a shadowing color. Unfortunately, I don't have a shadow color for the red right now. I think this is the only red I had. I'll have to look. I think I have a rose red too, which I might be able to use that one to lighten it up. But I'm also out of space in my pan. I can fill this with palettes, but if I do that, then I end up not able to carry my brushes and my pencil. I can maybe fit one in there without messing with the paint brushes and pencil. Dipping into this red copper is what it's called. This red copper I did not make. It is actually made by Winsor & Newton. I just sucked at making a copper, so I decided to steal the actual copper from Winsor & Newton. It can be really hard to make a good copper. As you can see, having this yellow underneath is kind of muting out the copper just a touch and giving a what's called a mother color look. It also is very common to do in oil paintings is to have this undercolor and make it look a little bit more cohesive, because if you just do a canvas white, it looks very, very strange. There we go. And I think for this next one, I'm going to do the dashes in Shine. So I'm going to take my brush, my bigger brush. This is the 3. And we're going to go ahead and dip into that black, which was the 3rd one in. Yes, I already had forgotten. I'm going to take these little dashes and turn them into iridescence. Again, I may take some of that orange or that pinky, dark pink up on top and turn it into a. I don't have a pink iridescent. I don't have a pink. Make a pink. I may have to make a pink. Okay, we're gonna make a pink. We're gonna use this pan and we're just gonna clean that off. That had the least amount of pigment in it. So we're just gonna take some white. We're gonna Mix it down here. A lot of white with the pink. Make that pink. A little bit more watery. Take a little bit of red. We're going to mix that in here, which makes a very beautiful light pink. I don't know why in iridescent mixing the red and the white creates a nice light baby pink, whereas mixing red and white in the normal watercolor doesn't quite make a pink. It creates kind of like an off pink. Don't ask me how that worked. We're just gonna go with the flow and say, yep, that's how that works. Also gonna go ahead and do on this one, since it's a normal pink pig, I'm also gonna do the ears here with iridescent. Really pretty. I do really like this pink that I made. It's really freaking pretty. Now this is not going to be a drastic difference on this pink versus the pale pink that I'm going to do the body with. I would have to add more red to have a very drastic difference. But I like this level of pink, in my opinion, is a good one. We're going to come over here and do the pinks over here. I will have to look at the reference photo. I think the ears are white, just pure white, which I will, if they are, I'll go in right now with the iridescent of white. I'll paint it there. I'm fairly certain that those are a blue. The reference photo. Nope, they're actually pink. So is Kitten's ears. So we're going to go ahead with that pink. Paint that up here. I do have to try and remember. Oh wait, no, I made a custom silver. Never mind. Right? Yeah, I did it. I did. It's a dark gray, but I can lighten it, which will make it more of a silver. I could add white to it to lighten it, or I can just do a light wash of it. I may add the white option, go that route, because of the fact that I want it to still be thick and consistent instead of having a very watered down look. Yes, I'm doing all the iridescent bits first. That's just because I want to keep in mind what iridescents are where. And this helps me not have to go back and be like, where did I want this? Good. And then I do want to iridesce the wine a little bit, and I think I'm also going to iridesce the purple. So the for the boba, not purple. So for the boba, it has a slightly lighter color to it. I think I'm going to try and mix this one here with the iridescent hopper. Iridesce that. I think that's the right color. Where is my swatch sheet? My swatch sheet. Yeah, that's still wet, so hopefully that'll dry soon. Not shiny enough, though. I don't think it's shiny enough. And I'm going to add some white because that got really dark. Also give a little bit of iridescent. That looks like a good bubble tea color. I can always go in and darken it on the sides later. I am making the boba tea full, even though on the reference it's not completely full. That is fine. It'll be perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. And I am going to take this and kind of drip some water along that center here, because there is a little bit of a line. Not going to give me, so whatever. And then it's going to be a black top, so we're going to go in with that blue. Yeah, we'll go in with a black black, so it should be fine. This black is very, very thick. That brown is definitely coming up into it. So I may have to come over with the black again. And the straw is a nice kind of pale yellow. So I don't have a pale yellow, but I do have a yellow. That nice and thick, and then we'll just kind of come up here, do that. Now for the wine glass, it is a red wine glass. So we're going to take some red, paint this on here. I know the entire wine glass would not be filled like this. It would have a little gap between the wine and the edge. This is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to do it. That's all there is to it. This is just how it's going to work. I can go in and drop some of that dark purple on there, which I think I'm going to. Normally you would wait until it's fully dry, but I want to give it a little bit of a gradient here on this purple. I'm not going to go in with like 5-6 layers like I normally do on a wine glass. Kind of let that gradiate in. And once it's dry, we'll do it. So for Piggo, we're going to do, it was the silver scythe, that's what it was. I think this might be my shiny silver, which it doesn't look like it is. So I'm going to add some black and white to it. Lots and lots of white. Actually, I think that just made my silver. Let me see here. I need a light silver. I have a dark gray, but I don't have a light gray yet. I don't know if I'm going to ever make. I'm also going to do silver for the hair on this boy, because I like the idea of it being silver. This one I am not going to go straight in and do the iridescence of the stick, just because I do want it to dry a little bit and not blend into the iridescent of the staff. As you guys know, I love doing iridescence on my paintings. It's just so pretty. It's a dopamine boost. 100% it's just a dopamine boost. Yes, I am custom making a lot of these colors. That's just because I want to. Okay, so for this guy, I wanted the pillow to be shiny, which I think I'm going to make the blanket the pink that we just made. Maybe. If I can get any pigment back up. Back up, so I'm going to have to add some more white, red, and that's okay that this pink's a little darker. I want the blanket and the pillow to be iridescent, so I'm going to do the pillow, the pink, and then I'm going to add a little bit more red to it. And then once that pillow dries, I will go in, and I'll add the red after it dries. I will go in and make that blanket just a slightly bit darker red. And I know the pig is going to be all pink. I get that. There's a lot of pink on this, but it's fine. Maybe I'll do some orange on the next pillow and blanket. Yes, I am doing a lot of detail work, so I am using a smaller brush. Yes, I could swap to a bigger brush and fill in faster, but that would require me to swap to a bigger brush. I don't want to swap to a bigger brush. I want to make sure this detail work stays right where I want it to be. Let that dry for a minute. Then I want this brown for the staff here of the rat pig, where it's kind of like one of those mochi hammers that you see. I don't know if they're specifically for mochi. Probably used for other things, any sort of smashing you have to do. actually flow as I paint. Yes, as you paint with watercolor, you do have to constantly add water to your paint. Part of the problem with doing a smaller brush as well, instead of just going straight for a bigger brush for these areas that I'm painting, is the brush, when you put it around, kind of skips every now and again. It creates a new look, a line outside of where you want it to be. That can be frustrating. It's fine. Everything's fine. We got this. So there's that one. Now we're doing the eye drips, and I'm going to do the orange pillow on this one. Or nose drips, not eye drips. These two both have the eye drips. The copper, okay, the copper is shiny. It's like the copper doesn't look very shiny in comparison to what I make. But it's just a matter of the light reflection here. And while those two are drying, I'm going to go ahead and work on the dark brown lines. This one, where it's just lines coming down. I probably should do a finer line. Fine. Add more water because it's not coming through fluidly. It's not making it all the way down. To follow the lines that I made underneath. They're hard to see. If I'm not following the line, I apologize. These boards are a little bit thicker than others. I know most people, when they do this, would want a consistent board length. Well, this, with me, you don't get a consistent board. You get all sorts of lines and everything everywhere. That is done. That one's dry enough to work on the next one. That one's dry enough to work on the next one. This one's dry enough to work on this next spot. This I can go in with the detail of the dark purple now. And I know it's weird saying dark purple into a wine glass, but that is exactly how that works. And then I'll go back in when it's done. I'll put that down. When it's done drying with the purple, I'm going to go back in with a little bit of red just to add in there. That one's done with the iridescent. This one needs the next level up on red. Add a bit more red here. Should be good. I don't want completely red. I just want a little bit more vibrant pink with more red in it. So that way it stands out against the pillow here. And I will be going over all of these with fine liner just to bring some of those details back that I drew, because the paint is kind of losing those details underneath. Yes, watercolor is transparent, but it can still erase a line if it's thick enough, especially with the iridescence. That can make it disappear real fast. Don't forget, with the pink, when I go to do the spots, I'm going to take that dark pink and mute it with a little bit of green, just to try and get that proper color for the piece. All done, and then that one looks dry enough, so we can go in with that orange. I think I'm going to go with the lighter orange, because I feel like the lighter orange. Now the iridescence will bring your vision down a little further, just because I'm putting most of them under the pig, so it's going to pull the attention away from the pig. I could have, in order to make it so the pig was more focused, I could have done the pig in iridescent. That would have been a lot of color mixing for that pink and white, or that red and white pink. That would have been a lot. That would have been a lot on me. I can go in with this dark orange and shade the one side on this pillow, which I may do. I'm gonna give it a few minutes to dry. Everything else is looking good. I think I need to do the light blue on the cup now. And then I'll go in with the slightly darker blue to outline the cup. Which honestly, I don't know if I'll do because I'm going to fine line it anyway. So I may just skip the dark blue lining the cup. Like I said, this is not my normal method for doing a wine glass. This is I have too small a space to get a lot of detail in there. Wine glass is nice and shiny on top of the cheeks and ears. Go back in with that red, like I said. I'm just gonna make a little bit more red here. Hopefully, it'll kind of counter some of that darkness with how light it was. Next step, now we gotta do the pale pink on all the picos. I am gonna do one size up, so I was on a 3, now I'm on a 5. And I am going to re-wet my pale pink because it's about to go freaking everywhere. When I mean everywhere, I mean everywhere. That pig, that pig, that pig, that pig, that pig, that pig, and that pig are all going to be pale pink. This one I'm going to be doing white with the black cloak. Oh, I can also go in with that brown now. Hang on. Forgot about the brown on the staff. Why does it sound like there's thunder incoming? It could be someone taking out their trash can, but it sounded like a rumble of thunder. Which, with how hot it's been, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't remember seeing in the forecast thunder. For the body, I'm going to do a dark gray. The cloak's going to be a true black. That'll hopefully give enough variation to give a nice contrast between what's on the pig and what's not on the pig. Right, so now we're going back to that smaller brush I had. The pale pink should be active enough. We're going to start painting the piggies. And as you can see, I'm doing a bit thicker consistency than I would like. This is mainly because I need to get it to cover up that color behind. Going a little on the light side, or a little watery side, I should say. Water is drying very quickly on this. I think part of that has to do with the fact that it's got a hole in it, so it's kind of dropping all the water to the bottom. This is a really pretty rat pig color. I think I did very good with this pale pink on getting a lot of like variation and options for different creatures. The Winsor & Newton doesn't come with a pale pink. I had to mix the bright red with the white, and it was a ton of white to get this pale pink. I have to keep adding water to this pale pink. Again, I'm going to avoid the pinkest pink for the spots. I know I did that on the 16 by 20 painting. I used the pinkest pink. But when I go to scan these, that way people can have options to get these even if the original sells, I want that pink to actually show through. And unfortunately, the pinkest pink is not scannable by a scanner. Go ahead and on to this next one. Yes, I am having to dip a lot. Again, this is because I'm trying to make it thicker, just so that way it can show up against that background. help spread it a little bit. And don't worry, I'm gonna go in with that dark pink, kind of muted pink, to finish those spots that are on there. Also do the snout as that muted pink. If I have to, I'll give in and use my acrylic paint. Again, I don't want to use the acrylic paint despite having the perfect colors for rat pigs, both the spots and the pig itself, just because this is watercolor paper and I want to use watercolor. But you gotta do what you gotta do. This one I gotta be careful and not paint over the iridescence. Again, this kind of furry blob is based on the rat pig Twitch streamers. This one is just the generic rat pig one, and then the next two are kitten and I'm pretty sure it's Krista. That way I don't have, and so I don't have to constantly wash my brush. I'm gonna skip ahead to the other pale pink rat pigs before I go after the kitten and Krista, just because they are not pale pink. One is blue and one is brown. I'm gonna skip ahead to where the next pale pink one is after this. Hello, kitty. I see you there. Having to wet my brush a little bit more than I would like because this pink is just, it is absolutely absorbing all this water that I'm putting into it. Trying to water down these really thick areas just so they're a little more consistent with the rest of the pig. I don't have to dip if I can get them to spread enough. I have to dip one more time just to get this bottom part a little bit more pinky. Okay. So the next pink one is down here, number 2. The rest of the piggies are also all the pinky versions. Trying to keep them as accurate as possible to in-game. I'm not sure if there is multicolors in-game. I unfortunately have not played many Tales of games, and the few that I have played I haven't gotten very far in, because I hate JRPGs with puzzles. I'm not good at puzzles. And even worse yet, the way I play the game, I tend to favor a character instead of getting everyone levels. So that doesn't help. I find a cute character and I'm like, ooh, let me go ahead and make them max level. And then everyone else suffers, and then they leave to where you can't play with them. And then you're like screwed because everyone else is like 20 levels behind. Stop with this one. We've already been going for an hour and 40 minutes. It feels like I barely started this. And part of that's probably because of the fact that I did backgrounds on it, which takes a little bit for it to dry. I am happy that the pale pink in its thicker form is able to cover up some of these undertones. Even just a little bit. Enough that you can tell the pig is pink, I should say. I could go in and layer these a couple of times to make it even more obvious that it's a pale pink, but I'm looking at that first one and it's looking okay with that yellow we added. It looks thick enough. It's nice and pink, even with that undertone. So we should be okay not having to do a second layer. On my bookmarks, I have decided I'm going to start adding charms to them, and the few that I still have, I'm going to add charms to. I don't know if I'm going to add charms to the printed ones, maybe a few here and there, but my goal is to actually make those charms where or get the bookmarks to where I have the chain on them, and then you pick a charm as you buy it, because it'll take, 30 seconds to add a charm, unless it fights me. So, that'll add a little bit of kind of interaction with the customer, where the customer can make the bookmark feel a little bit more special and unique to them. But that's fine. This heat, it should dry relatively quickly. Be careful not to paint over that nose drip. It'll start bleeding everywhere, and I don't want that. And don't worry, if I do run out of pale pink in my palette today, I do have more pale pinks off to the side because I made enough pans for like 4 or 5 times. So I'm not too worried in the future if I run out. Obviously, if I go through all 5 of those pans, I'll just have to mix more. But that's not as big a deal. You have a better idea of the ratio of white to red. So it's a lot of white with very little red to make a pale pink, which is why I was able to make it so quickly with the iridescent down here. Being covered. It's not gonna cover though. It's gonna stay a pain in my butt. Okay, fine. Just exist, green. I didn't want you to, but you're gonna. At least I'll be doing a darker pink in some of these areas on it. That should help. Alright, final piggy. Again. Part of it is the small brush can't cover enough or bring enough of that water over to the pink, which is part of why it's drying so quickly. That pink just absorbs water because it's a Cotman one. It's, when I say Cotman, I don't mean like Cotman made it. I took 2 Cotman colors and mixed it together. So it is technically still Winsor & Newton Cotman. It's just a custom mix Winsor & Newton Cotman. That way I didn't have to mix it every time I wanted pink. Which I know I use pink a lot, so as you guys can see from the fact it's quite loved and no longer a full pan. So the gray on here actually is creating kind of a nice shadow effect. Still not what I wanted, but happy accident. Happy accident. It's fine. Alright, so now I'm going to go in with the base for Kitten and, again, I think it's Krista. Come on, give me my reference photo. My fingerprint don't match. Bull. Oop, almost dropped that and made a mess. Alright, so it's kind of like a nice fleshy color for Kitten. So I'm going to go ahead and take my flesh color, which is also very dry now. And then I'm also going to take I think I'm going to go with my custom coffee color. Yeah, I'm going to do the custom coffee color for the rest of the body. So we're going to start here. Looks like I might use a little bit of the yellow, no, not yellow. Yeah, yellow ochre. to do the shadows on the body. I don't know if I will for sure, but now the mouths open look like it is very much a red mouth. So I will go in with a tiny brush to make the mouths red, and then go over with the fine liner to get the final effect, which is the line on the outside. Feet are dark brown, so I'm not going to worry about painting the feet. I'm trying to avoid the spots this time because I don't want the colors to mix too much. I could have always lightened up the flesh by adding more water than color on it, and then I could have done the painting and then done the shadow with a much thicker consistency. But I didn't think about that. Why would I have thought about that? That would have been too easy. I never think ahead. I try to just go with the paint, however it wants to paint. Give Kitten a minute to dry here once I get the ears. And go back to the other 7 rat pigs. Don't mind me as I just count how much I have on my freaking bookmarks here. We'll go with the other 7 rat pigs, and we will go ahead and do their next layers. And then Krista is kind of a turquoisey blue. We're gonna go with my blue here. I do technically have a turquoisey blue, but I don't want it to be too dark. So we're gonna go ahead and do this lighter blue. And her feet are white. Probably gonna have to take some Dr. Martens there and whiten up where she is very white. A couple of the areas where she's very white, it's very much a situation of a background sinking into the color. Spread out this blue a little bit because I do want it on the lighter side. It's getting a little dark. Yes, you can still see my pencil lines on Krista. I made the bubble tea a little too big. I had to shrink it a touch. First line right here. Yeah. I haven't decided. Do you guys like it with me talking, or should I actually go ahead and start doing silent streams where I just paint and not talk at all? Do you guys like me talking through them? Understand what I'm doing as I do it? Darken that side while lightening this side. Now there is a slightly darker blue on the outline, so I'll probably go ahead once that's dry and do a little bit of dark blue lining. This one down here is going to be my next one, which is going to be relatively quick. I'm just going to do a nice dark gray, which I think is right here. Nope, that's iridescent gray. My bad. I don't want iridescent gray. We can go with a slightly bluey gray. Let's see how this looks darkened. Yeah, that'll be a good gray to give contrast to the black of the cloak. We're just going to take up all this extra pigment here on the edges. Have enough of it. I'm just going to very carefully, I should definitely swap to a smaller brush. I'm going to swap to a smaller brush, which I'm going to go with that super fine detail brush that I'm going to go with the 3. I'm going to go with this 3 here. I'm going to carefully paint these little gaps to make it look kind of like a skeleton. don't know if I have enough of that gray there. I may have to custom mix some more gray. We will see. I figured it's small enough. Like, these areas are small enough that I should be able to get away with it. We'll see. We'll see how much we can get away with. Slowly getting there. This doesn't look iridescent, but it kind of does while wet. So I don't know if I did an iridescent here. I didn't mean to if I did. I don't want this entire thing iridescent. But goal here on this particular pig is to kind of make it look like ribs. Like skeleton ribs. Rib cage for humans. I don't know if I succeeded very well, but that was the goal. Here. Well, this pig is definitely going to need some outlining, as, like I said, most of him is white. I may even have to get out my gel pens for some of these pigs in order to make them, their eyes pop with shine. There we go. That looks good. Oh, I forgot the snout. I almost forgot the snout. How dare I forget the snout? Looks more like a zebra than a skeleton. I will admit that. It's fine. It's all fine. All right, next step. We get to paint all the words, the spots on the pink rat pigs. So again, I'm gonna turn my piece here. I'm gonna grab some of that nice dark pink that I have. And we're gonna spray a little puddle into this pan here. Take a lot of that dark pink and we're gonna mix it in. When I say a lot, I want it to be relatively pigmented. Now, the opposite of red is green. So I'm going to go ahead, clean my brush, and take a little bit of this darker green. If it'll let me, because it's already dry. We're just going to add it in there. Now, it looks like a little too purpley. So we're going to take some red here, mix it in. Now, that might be the right color. Oops. I think I'm going to take a little bit more pink, add it in. Take our swatch sheet. We're going to see how it does. I didn't make a ton of it, which is going to be problematic later. Yeah, that looks... I think I could use a little more green. Go here. See, now that made it purple. I don't understand. Green is opposite the red on the color wheel, right? Like, I'm not crazy. There we go. That's the right color. So we got the right color finally. And now we're going to go in and do the spots here and under the ears. I may want to swap to a smaller brush yet. I am looking at how small some of these are. And I am not liking my outcome here on being able to hit those small pieces. That is a little bit more transparent than I would like, and I am going to swap to a smaller brush. Swap back to that 3. I know it takes a little bit longer to paint with a 3, but it has a little bit more control on the details. I don't have to have these lines perfectly straight, just because of the fact I will be outlining them. They need to be as straight as possible. Just make the outline easier. A little bit here, just because it's a little too transparent. That's mainly not getting dark enough. Okay. After these piggies, I do understand, again, that these pigs look a lot different than that 16 by 20 painting I did. Again, that's mostly due to the fact that I really want to play with the Pink is Pink, and these ones actually have to be scanned, where that Pink is Pink will not show up. I think they're really cute with the super pink spots, but that's just my opinion. I need... Despite it being transparent, it looks like I did make enough, hopefully, to finish all the piggies. I've barely used any of it. Granted, again, it's very transparent, so I'm probably going to have to layer, but I've barely used any of it so far on the spots that I have made. Oh, there's a cat under my desk. I just saw my phone get knocked around, and now it's slightly tilted the wrong way. I know I do look down a lot. I apologize. I know Rosie looking down is kind of weird. I know as soon as I leave this room, though, I'm gonna hate my life because it is freaking hot as hell today, and the only AC in my house is currently in my studio. We only have one right now, so we're trying to get it. We're trying to get like a couple rooms available for heat. Yeah, let's hoof that. The black will show up very nicely on those hooves. Don't worry about that. Next piggy. I did the light pink iridescent on this one's ears, so I don't have to go up and do the ears, which is kind of nice. I do think this pink is working out really well to be the same color as the pig spots in game, at least from the reference photos I saw. Yeah, I'm definitely happy I swapped to a smaller brush. It's a little bit more controlled, and I don't have to worry about getting it out of the spot too much. Because if it is out of the spot, it's just a tiny little gap here, and then I can line it to hide that gap. All three of these rat pig bunny creature things are going to need a are going to need a little bit of red for the mouth before I start lining them, but we are getting pretty close to done already. Very exciting. I am seeing the time, so I will not be able to do the postcards today. I may do them downstairs or, you know, off stream. I do want to try and hit the gym today. I don't know if I'm going to because the heat is killing me. Well, we'll see. I'm going to add a little spot up here. I think that would be cute. That's good, and then I need to do the white PH Martins for that one. I need to do the dark brown for that one. This one is just down to the black, I believe. I may have to PH Martins a little bit on the skeleton portion. We'll see how I feel when I get to that point. Yes, each rat pig is different. Each of the spots is not the same as the one next to it. I didn't feel like trying to make it exact. Keep in mind with getting out a gel pen to do the eye shines, that that is a very common practice and technique in watercolor, is to use a fine liner and gel pen to get the thin details that you can't get with without a steady hand. These little dark spots on the feet are supposed to be hooves. I don't know if they're actually going to look like hooves in the end, but I'm trying. Doing my best. I need to reach for it. Where'd it go? Lost my mind there for a minute. So while I still have this wet for the hooves, I'm just going to go through and do all the hooves. I have a cat just chilling on the floor, relaxing in my studio, sleeping. Which I do not blame her. It is the coolest room in the house. So I think... No, I don't have a second cat in here. I just have the one. My cats were very upset last night. I brought my puppy up. Well, my husband brought the puppy up. Because of the fact that it was so hot yesterday. It was literally 88 in our downstairs. And it was like 90 outside, 92 or something like that. So we brought her up to sleep in bed with us, and every cat got pissed. They did not like that. They did not like that the dog was up here. Their territory. How dare. How very dare. I think that's good on the hoofs. I think I'm going to go in and do this one hoof, these two hooves over here. Darken them up a little bit. I may go ahead and darken the other spots as well. And to darken, you just gotta layer a bit. As watercolor dries, like I said, it's very transparent, so you can see what's behind it. But the more you layer it, the less transparent it gets. Think of it like putting film on top of each other. Eventually, you're not going to see the colors of the film. You're just going to see black, and even then, you may not see through it, depending on how many you put there. Little call back to high school right there with the colored films. And yes, I do realize that just helped me look older. Dark here. Again, I don't want to make these too black because of the fact that I do want to have that nice dark black coat. I want these dark without being too dark. Okay, back to doing the spots. Kind of mix that color back in together. Rotate my phone so that way it's actually facing me so the webcam can actually do things. Pick up where my character is. Something went right there. Oh, the hoof. I have to redo that hoof real quick. My hoof mixture dries out. I got most of the pigmentation out of this gray, so I may have to just go in and wipe it out. The nice thing about watercolors, if you don't use all of your pigmentation, you can just fully let it dry and then re-wet it later, and you have the exact color you used last time. maybe a little value lower, but should be fine. I haven't decided if I want to make the belly. I'm just gonna make the belly a dark pink too. It's fine. I'm sure their bellies are probably lighter, like a light yellow or really light pink. But we're just gonna make them dark for now. One big spot. It's fine. One of the things I thought of for my booth that will kind of help make it interactive is for things like my bookmarks. I'm going to hole punch it on the top, and then I'm going to add a chain, and then I'm going to have a bunch of little charms in like category style, so like food, heart, whatever, sea life, and then I will let people pick out a charm. I'll put it together there on the spot, which should only take a few seconds. To make these layers on these spots a little bit darker, because in some of the areas it is really light. I need one of those like hand boards where it just carefully lifts your hand up so you can rest your hand against something without touching your painting. Most of the time they're used for like oil paintings, but I feel like I need it for watercolor. Mostly because I keep touching things in another area. If I try to do multiple paintings at once, then I will end up touching one of the other paintings for certain. I have to repaint or do something like that. Go. This all over the place, dark. Not gonna see too much of that ear separation. I will definitely have to bring that back with the fine liner. As hot as it is, I'm surprised these aren't drying as fast as I would anticipate. That could be because of the fact that I have the AC unit running in here. I have to have the AC unit running in here or else I couldn't stream. Because the phone that I'm using for the webcam gets so overheated so quickly. The last time I streamed on a hot day, which wasn't as hot as this week, within 2 hours, I couldn't touch the phone. It was so hot. It actually ended my webcam while I was streaming because it had to cool down. So that was a fun thing. That was a fun thing to learn. I ended up having to stick it in my mini fridge even just to cool it off. I could outline these with acrylic, but the acrylic may get a bit on the thick side, so it's not my... Freaking something just... I'm really hoping it wasn't my webcam. I'm hoping it's like a heat warning alert. That'd be nice. I'm gonna add one more spot on this guy. It's gonna be right here. Yeah, I like that. I'm tempted to add one down at the bottom, but I don't want to overdo it. So this guy's got a little one on his eye. Nosy. Or the head. As you guys can see, these are looking very accurate to the rat pig spots. They probably could have been muted a touch more, but the more I muted it, the more purple it looked. Which I don't know how that worked. Because usually when you add a complementary, it adds and makes it a little bit more, how to say this, it makes it a little bit grayer and like more brown and less saturated. But somehow, and I don't know how, it made it purple. It could be because pink has some white in it or something in the pink was not fully complemented by the green. Maybe there's like some blue or something in here. And that's why it was made purple. Or there could have been blue in the green. Actually, probably blue in the green. I may have picked a green that was more bluey. Bluey? Now we're talking about the dog. Okay. It had more blue to it than I anticipated. That could be why it turned purple. Probably do this back foot with a hoof on this guy. I'll do a little heart right here. 'Cause why the frick not? Not gonna look much like a heart, but you know, it's like one of those you fill in the blanks. Add one right here. The guy is nice and covered. Anyone else I need to cover in this? No. Okay. So now we can go in with Krista's darker color, which I'm going to do the second blue with. And then I also need that brown for Kitten. And then I will need that red for the mouths. Activate all of those. We're going to start with the blue. And it's just a little line on the outside. I don't know if it's supposed to be like shadows or what. There's a little line on the outside causing a depth change. I meant to wet that and bring it down. Here so it's not too gone. Here. Oh, this is a much darker blue than I would have liked. Part of why I'm dipping it in the water to kind of bring it up. Create that nice light shade of dark blue. A little bit here on my brush just to kind of lighten it up. There we go. Here's all the blue for Krista. Now for the dark browns for Ellie. I will have to do the cloak on I'll have to do the cloak on the Grim Reaper and then come back and do the mouths of these bunny rat pigs, I want to call them. I get the whole point of the rat pig is it's like a bunny and a pig mixed together, but these are much more piggy. Problematic. So we're going to add some water just to kind of smooth it out. here, which it is not enough, so we're going to add some water. So that way it stays nice and smooth. And over here. These are the only spots I noticed on Kitten where she had the dark brown. Yes, it's a touch darker brown than it would be if you were looking at her stream. But, I mean, it's pretty close. It's pretty freaking close. Like I might have to add some more pink to that blush here. Which it's a slightly redder pink, but that's fine. It's going to lighten up with this water anyway. Like I might have gotten that blush a little too covered in brown. Actually, that's a much better pink than the ones I use, so I think I'm going to layer all the rat pigs with this pink. Maybe I'll do the mouths with a iridescent red. Kind of help pull toward them. What the Crystal and Allie have to say on those streams is very important. And you should listen as they talk and explain the game and get lost and everything else. The iridescent pink that I made was a little too light. It definitely looks like more of a white than a pink. So I'm happy I made this darker pink for the blanket. It still matches on the one that I did the pillow with. Like that light pink and dark pink is a very stark contrast. It just doesn't match up here with these pictures. That's looking good. So now I need to do the red, which again, I think I'm going to do iridescent red instead of the red that I activated up there. Ooh, I could do glitter red. No, I want to do glitter. Yeah, I'll do iridescent and glitter red. Let me activate both of them. Especially the glitter one. Mica should be fine to go straight in. The fact that it's been activated before. That yet. Then once that dries, I'll go in with the glitter, which is still activating. Now to go in with that black hood. This is where I wanted that stark contrast from that gray to the hood, because of the fact that that gray would look like it's just part of the hood. It's like coming in at weird angles. I didn't want that. Trying to pull some of this black down here up. Yeah, Krista's got enough iridescent. I'm like, I could make Krista's white iridescent here. But I think she has enough iridescence on her. I don't want to overdo the iridescent, if you know what I mean. I'm going to keep this where I want it to be. trying to get a nice deep black in this. I don't want to be able to see my fine lines on this hood, basically. Still gonna line it, but I don't want to be able to see it much. Put a hood right here. Put a hood right here. Darken that up. Done. Into the fine lines, and then we'll get into the possibly the gel pens for some white eyelids. I'm just down to Krista's white. I'm not seeing anything else that needs done, other than the fine lining. The signing, I don't know if I'm gonna do with oh, I still gotta do the glitter red. I don't know if I'm gonna do the signing with paint or if I'm just gonna go in with the fine line marker. I'm kind of leaning the fine line marker because I don't want to re-wet the paint, but at the same time, is it really one of my pieces if I don't paint it? Get some glitter in each mouth. That'll be really, really pretty. I could go over with some of these and add glitter options. I don't want to add too many with glitter. Get my drift here. I could go in once this guy's dry with the cloak and add glitter, so I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to activate that while I work on Krista's Peach Martin White. I think I'm going to also add some white to the wine glass over there. Add a little line to the boba. Go in with these feet and hair. Those feet. Now to get white on a watercolor painting, I know this Dr. Martin's Peach White pops up when you type in watercolor white paint or thick white paint. It's technically a gouache. Most watercolor artists use this Dr. Martin's Bleed Proof because it is the most consistent with not having extra issues. Like basically bleeding. Okay. That all looks good. Looking happy. I'm going to add a little white nose drips. There we go. Now I do need to make that back foot on this one gray. I forgot to do that. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to activate this one more time. I may have just lightened it by adding some Peach Martins that didn't fully clear off my brush, but it's fine. Ahead and paint that over. Oh, and I was going to do a darker orange on that side there. I just remembered that. It's amazing what, as you paint things and kind of move around, what things actually you remember you were going to do and what things you don't. Kind of fun, to be honest. Oh, I missed a spot on this boy. Happy boy. That pigment again. Happy boy, nice spot here. I have to look really close at these to make sure that I got everything. This is part of the issue with watercolor is while you can see the pencil marks through it, you don't see them enough to make sure you hit everything. Got a little spot right here. Right there. I think that looks good. I'm not seeing any other issues. I'm looking closely for any like spots that were drawn on. Not seeing any more. I think we're good. I'm gonna go in with this sparkle black here. Go over the cloak. Now, this black isn't fantastic. Like I said, it doesn't have any mica powder. It's just glitter. So it doesn't have a lot of existence with it other than to add glitter. Which does make it kind of chunky looking, but it's fine. It's enough that it adds a little extra oomph. Now, it is hard to see where the glitter is getting put, just because the glitter isn't super evident, especially on black. I wanted to add some glitter here. I am going to leave the body of him this style white without adding any extra white to it. So I'm not going to take that P.H. Martin's to this skeleton man, because I do want him to kind of exist without preamble, if you will. I almost have enough glitter on here. There we go. That's a little better. So I'm going to let that dry, and then we'll start fine lining. I suppose I can start fine lining the upper areas first, or I can work my way this way up. That way I don't have to worry about accidentally touching him. So I do have these fine line markers, but they're a bit thick, so I'm going to go with this one. This one is a, I think, 0.2 or 0.3 or something like that. And that one, I think I have to start with a 0.5. I'm going to start down here, just because I feel like that's a little smarter. Take your time when fine lining, as you don't need to rush it. If you do try to rush it, that's where you're going to make mistakes. Right there. I just ended that nose drip a little too soon. I still haven't done that shadowed orange yet. Glad I started here, because I think that orange is still good enough that I can add it. I'm not going to fine line every single spot around it. That seems a little silly. Darker orange. The spots I'm going to leave unfine line, just because of the fact that I feel like if I outline those, it may be just a touch too much black. I don't want to overdo it. That should be good. On that darker orange. I can shadow under the pig, but I didn't shadow anywhere else, so I'm not going to shadow under the pig. I was tempted. I almost did it. I'm also not going to fine line the top of the hoof, but I will add like a little line to suggest a hoof. Hi, Caddy. Hi. Do you need attention right now? You need attention right this second? Too bad. All right, we're almost at the 2-hour mark, which means we are almost at 3 o'clock, which is when I normally end. I will go ahead and finish up these bookmarks, and then we will end the stream. I'm going to fine line the ear holes here. I touched the gooey part. eyes are big enough that I think I can get away with adding an eye shine. But also, rat pigs don't normally have eye shines from what I was seeing on the art and the in-game stuff. So I may not add a eye shine. The dark orange wasn't fully dried, so it's a little chunky to draw in. But it's fine. I got this. Take your lines nice and slow here. Make sure you aren't chicken scratching and doing a bunch of little lines. Now again, this is not perfect. I am not great at doing perfect recreations of the lines I draw. I try my best. What do you guys think, chat? Should I do an eye shine? I don't know. I haven't decided. Can't decide. I'm not good at like professional decisions. I suppose I could always fine line over it if I hate it. I don't like having to go back and forth. Eyes are big enough I could easily add eye shines, which will make it a little bit more unique because most people aren't going to add the eye shines as far as I'm thinking. I don't know for certain they will, but... aren't going to be perfect recreations of my lines. Again, it's really hard to be very accurate with it. I'm probably going to sign these with the fine line pen. That's still very wet, so we're going to let that continue drying. Outline the dark spots here on the bunny rat pigs. Not gonna do the ones on the body, just the feet, and probably the heart in the middle. And I don't want to outline too much. Make it look weird. Shines. Shines have little lines in them. Mouth. Mouth did have a very black outline. Started to lose my pen there because of the thick gunk around the mouth. I think it's partially the glitter making it a little gunky and kind of screwing with my pens. Off a bit. I will admit, even on the streaming rat pigs, they don't really have eye shines. So I guess it won't look weird if I don't do it. I just feel weird not doing it. cats are surrounding me because they all want attention. I think I have 3 cats in the room now, which is literally every cat I own. That was a weird line. It's okay. It's fine. It looks like the orange did dry a different shade than the yellow, the golden yellow. So that's good. Lining is definitely helping that lighter pink stand out at least, which I am glad about. It's helping clean up some of my lines here. I forgot the eyes and the mouth and all that. Gunked up again. I think it's that glitter doing the gunking. I have to get different glitter or thin the recipe a bit more. I'm hopeful it's not the actual glitter issue, because I don't want to have to fight with glitter. This is still very wet. Holy cow, I'm impressed. It may be the sparkles I'm seeing. Might be what's wet. I'm not entirely certain on that, so I don't want to risk it. I may have to, though. One is a little messier on my lining. That's partially due to the fact that I am getting tired of lining already. I'm almost done. I've got 2 more to line. And we are past 3 o'clock, which is my normal stop time, which is fine. I don't have to rush down to get the kids or anything like that, so it's not a big deal that I'm a little bit behind here on my art. Definitely still wet. I just touched it. Alright, this is going to be a challenge because it is very, very wet still. So I've got to be very careful with how I line this. Eyeball, eyeball. or scythe, whatever you want to call it. Thankfully with the black, I don't have to outline everything on this boy, because the black is doing a lot of the hard work. I think that's good. I am very much leaning to add the white, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the white. We're just gonna go for it. 4.6, that's gonna be too big. 1.2, definitely too big. 1.0, too big. Just gonna grab every freaking marker here. 0.8. I'm eventually gonna find the right size. 0.5, that's fine. I'll leave it up there. So we're gonna just add a little bit of white into each. Apparently hair is touching my arm now and freaking me out. Maybe add a little bit of white into each eyelid. That black. That's picking up too much black. We're gonna have to go the next size up, which that was 0.5, so we're gonna go back to that 0.6, wherever it ended up. Not 1.2, that's way too big. 0.6, here we go. 0.6 should leave a little bit more white there, which it is. Got eye shine on this baby. Eye shines on this baby. Give this little guy some eye shines. Even though he technically should be the Reaper of Death, so he shouldn't have an eye shine at all. Add some eye shines to these. I touched something sticky, I don't know what it was. Here. Little eye shine on this guy. Little eye shine on that guy. Little eye shine here. And here. Okay. Yeah, I kind of like that with the eye shines. It makes them feel more alive. I get a lot of rat pigs don't have eye shines, but this just feels right. Okay, any whiter? Really dark gray. That one's fine. They're all dark gray. Okay. They're all drying to be dark gray. Whatever. It's fine. Attempted eye shine is there. Alright, so that's good there. And now I just have to sign them. And we should be all good to go. Again, I'm probably going to sign them. Well, the black is still a little wet. I will sign them with a paintbrush, because normally, oh, that is what I do. I'm going to go ahead and take my paint water over here. We're going to take the second smallest paintbrush that I have, which is not over there. Go with this one. I'll take the second smallest paintbrush that I have, which right now is the 3, unfortunately. Grab some water, put it in the black, push it around a little bit, and then just do a little signy sign. Nope. Okay, we're not doing it with the paint. I don't feel like fighting this. There, okay. I don't feel like fighting it. We're doing it with a pen. Signing all the good stuff. Now, normally you don't sign until the very, very end of a painting, which is why I waited. Because if your painting is not complete, you should not sign it, because you may have to go over your signature, or you may have to adjust something, and it's always a pain to deal with a signature that's already there. So Never, ever, ever, ever sign a piece until you are 100% completely done. More to sign. One thing I do dislike about that red copper color is it's supposed to be shiny and iridescent, but like my iridescent brown is so much shinier than the brown I got from Winsor & Newton, which is really, really sad. I should not be making better shiny colors than Winsor & Newton, but at the same time, that does mean yes, it is. It does mean that I have gotten a very good technique down with my watercolor. Maybe it is Lizzie Linka's shiny. Okay, everything is signed. Last step, we're going to clear off the tape, and we will be all done for the day. This was a test scrap I did for iridescent paint for my cat one that I was working on. I did finish the cat one. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to finish it off stream. I was just motivated, so I did it. And this is starting to rip on the paper, so I'm going to go ahead and quickly hit it with a blast of heat. I apologize to headphone users. Heat kind of helps it break up the glue, and that will help it peel off a lot easier. That should be enough. I hope. At least. Go ahead and start peeling this one, which already had some sticking issues. Okay, it's doing. Oh, no, there it goes. Some of these are going to have a little bit of a error on them with the paper. Trying very hard not to, but I am getting some paper coming up on it. This has been taped for a hot minute, so that's probably why. If it's fresh tape, it usually peels off very nicely. I think this has been like 4 or 5 days of being taped. Oops. Also means my postcard ones are going to have problems being taped or getting the tape off, because those have also been chilling on there for a hot minute. I forgot to do the middle one. The middle one next. A little bit of tear there, nothing too bad. That one's gonna tear a lot. Okay, there it goes. My tape was not sticking to the board, so I did a little extra tape to make it stick. A couple pieces of paper here and there coming up. Oh, that one had a little bleed. Okay, that's fine. And there we go. The next round of bookmarks is done. These will be available at Rat Pig Crossing in September if you want to get one. I would appreciate it if you did, because I'm making a lot of stuff for Rat Pig Crossing, and I want to have some good fun time there with everyone. A lot of these are shiny. This one isn't too shiny, since the only shine is really the dashes. But every other one has a nice shine to it. It's nice and everywhere. It's beautiful. So I'm gonna let all this stuff dry, because I have a lot of stuff to dry right now. That's my swatch sheet. That is an extra swatch sheet that travels with me. I'll let these all dry, because some of these are still very wet. And yeah, I think that's all I have for today. It has been a lot of fun. I am glad that we were able to get this done, and I apologize that I. No, I don't apologize. You guys got extra time today. I don't apologize for that. So, yeah, I hope you guys had a lot of fun. I appreciate y'all, and I will see you guys hopefully Friday, I'm hoping. Also, Rosie is like completely twisted because my cat twisted it again. But I will hopefully see you guys all Friday. Bye!